In 8 years of marriage, her tech billionaire husband never once asked what she did on her laptop for 6 hours every night. But when his board members arrived for an emergency meeting, she quietly projected files onto the screen that made the CFO's hands start shaking. Her husband's face went pale. What she revealed next destroyed everything he'd built, and freed her from a prison made of lies. Before we begin, tell us in the comments from which city are you watching. And at the end, do not forget to rate this story from 0 to 10. Enjoy the story. The coffee in Maya Chen's mug had gone cold 2 hours ago. She sat in the corner of the conference room at Data Core Industries headquarters, her presence so thoroughly ignored that the executives had stopped even glancing in her direction. This was exactly how she preferred it. Around the massive glass table, San Francisco's tech elite were panicking. Her husband, David Chen, sat at the head, his jaw tight, his eyes darting between the board members who'd called this emergency Sunday meeting. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, the Bay Area sprawled below them like a kingdom. David's kingdom. Or so everyone believed. Maya watched him try to control the room, watched him fail. The wedding ring on her finger felt heavy. 8 years of marriage, and in all that time, David had never once asked what she did during those long nights when he was at dinner meetings, charity galas, investor parties. Never asked why she spent 6 to 8 hours every single night typing on her laptop. Never asked what she was working on. He'd assumed she was shopping online, maybe scrolling social media. Doing whatever bored rich wives did with their time. He'd never been more wrong about anything in his life. The breach is catastrophic, Marcus Webb, the CFO, was saying. His hands shook as he pulled up slides on the projection screen. Someone accessed our core servers 3 nights ago. They downloaded every file we have, client data, surveillance logs, the entire Phoenix protocol, everything. Maya took a sip of cold coffee and said nothing. She'd made that coffee herself in the building's executive kitchen at 7 a.m. when David had begged her to come to this meeting for moral support. She'd smiled and agreed, the dutiful wife. Always smiling, always agreeing, always invisible. How much are they asking for? David's voice was strained. The ransom. What's the number? That's the thing, Sarah Kim, the chief technology officer, leaned forward. They haven't asked for anything. They just sent one message. You have 72 hours to shut down Phoenix Protocol and delete all illegally obtained data. If you don't, everything goes public. The FBI, the press, your clients, everyone will know what you've been doing. The temperature in the room seemed to drop. Maya watched the color drain from David's face. She'd seen that expression before, on the faces of men who'd just realized they'd been caught. Phoenix Protocol, David said slowly, is perfectly legal. We've had lawyers review every... We both know that's not true, Marcus interrupted, which was unusual. Marcus never interrupted David. No one interrupted David Chen. He was the genius founder of Data Core Industries, the boy wonder who'd built $1 billion company by age 32. Tech magazines had called him visionary. Forbes had put him on their cover. Maya had watched it all happen from the shadows of their Presidio Heights mansion, invisible. She pulled out her phone, typed something quickly, and set it face down on the table in front of her. The men didn't notice. They never noticed her. Who has this kind of capability? David was asking. To breach our systems, to get past every firewall, Someone very, very good, Sarah said quietly. Maybe the best I've ever seen. They left no trace, no signature, no digital footprint. It's like a ghost went through our systems. Maya allowed herself the smallest smile. Can we find them? David demanded. Can we track them down? Offer them money to keep quiet, something? David, Marcus said carefully, and Maya heard the tone shift. This was the moment. She'd been waiting for it. Before we talk about solutions, we need to talk about exposure. If this goes public, if the FBI investigates Phoenix Protocol, if clients learn what we've been doing with their data, what we've been doing is building the most sophisticated behavioral prediction system in the world, David snapped. What we've been doing is changing the future of... What we've been doing is illegal, Sarah said flatly. Phoenix Protocol scraped personal data from 300 million users without consent. We've been tracking their locations, reading their messages, accessing their cameras and microphones. We've been selling that data to governments, corporations, anyone willing to pay, and we've been lying about all of it. The room went silent. Outside, San Francisco glittered in the late morning sun, oblivious. Maya set down her coffee cup. The small clink of porcelain against glass was absurdly loud in the sudden quiet. Every eye turned toward her. For the first time in 8 years of attending David's business events, sitting quietly in corners during important meetings, smiling pleasantly at dinner parties, someone was looking at her. She stood up. Her hands were steady. "I need to show you all something," Maya said quietly. David blinked at her like he'd forgotten she was there. "Maya, honey, the adults are talking about serious." "I know what you're talking about," she said. "I've known for 6 months. Every detail, every crime, every lie." She walked to the projection computer, her heels clicking against the polished floor. Sarah started to object, but something in Maya's posture made her stop. Maya plugged a USB drive into the computer. The screen flickered, and then, one by one, files began appearing. Not the sanitized files David showed investors. Not the carefully edited reports he gave the board. The real files. Phoenix Protocol's actual architecture. The illegal data mining operations. The surveillance logs showing data core accessing user devices without permission. The encrypted communications with foreign governments. The offshore accounts receiving payments. The falsified SEC filings. 8 years of fraud compiled into one devastating presentation. "What the hell is this?" David stood up, his chair scraping back. "Maya, where did you get—" "I collected it," Maya said simply. "Over the last 6 months. Every night while you were at dinner meetings or investor parties or charity events. Every night when you assumed I was shopping online or watching TV. I was in your systems, all of them." Marcus made a sound like he'd been punched. "You're the breach. You're the hacker." Maya turned to face them all. "I'm not a hacker, Marcus. I'm the hacker. I'm Ghost Protocol. I'm the one who brought down the Nexus ring 3 years ago. I'm the one who exposed the Pentagon data leak. I'm the consultant who's helped the FBI close 43 cybercrimes in the last 5 years. I'm the woman your security team has been trying to identify for half a decade." She looked at David. Really looked at him. "I'm the woman you married and never once bothered to know." David's mouth opened and closed. No sound came out. He looked, Maya thought distantly, like a fish drowning in air. "That's impossible," Sarah breathed. "Ghost Protocol is— Everyone thinks Ghost Protocol is—" "A man?" Maya's smile was sharp. "Yes, everyone does. It's amazing what people assume. It's amazing what you can accomplish when everyone is too busy underestimating you to notice what you're actually doing." She clicked to the next slide. "Phoenix Protocol is finished. I've already sent copies of everything to the FBI, the SEC, and 3 major newspapers. They publish in 68 hours unless DataCore shuts down the illegal surveillance operation, deletes all stolen data, and makes full restitution to affected users." "You can't," David found his voice. "You can't do this. I'm your husband. This is my company. This is everything I've built." "You built it on crimes," Maya said quietly. "You built it on lies, and you built it using money I gave you." The room went very, very still. "What?" David whispered. Maya pulled up another file, her own file. 8 years ago, when we met, you told me DataCore was struggling. You needed capital. You were about to lose everything. So I gave you $4 million. My money. From my consulting work. From years of being Ghost Protocol and getting paid very, very well for it." She clicked through bank records, wire transfers, investment documents, all showing money flowing from Maya Chen's accounts to DataCore Industries. That $4 million became $40 million in your first round of funding, and that became $400 million, and then $4 billion. My initial investment is now worth approximately $800 million. I never asked for equity. I never asked for credit. I just wanted to help the man I loved build his dream. Her voice was steady, but David could hear something underneath it now, something cold. And you know what's funny, David? In 8 years, you never asked me where I got that $4 million. A 24-year-old grad student with $4 million in the bank, and you never once wondered how. You just took the money and assumed I was… What? Trust fund, baby? Lucky? You never asked. Maya, David took a step toward her. We can talk about this. We're done talking, Maya said. I've already filed for divorce. You'll receive the papers tomorrow morning. I'm taking my initial investment plus returns. I'm taking the Presidio house since I paid for it. I'm taking my car since I paid for that too. And I'm taking every single bite of evidence that proves what DataCorp has been doing. She looked at each board member in turn. You have 68 hours to clean this up. Shut down Phoenix Protocol. Delete the data. Make restitution. Or I make sure you all go to prison. Your choice. Marcus found his voice. You're blackmailing us. No, Maya said calmly. I'm giving criminals a chance to minimize their sentences. There's a difference. She unplugged her USB drive, dropped it in her purse. Oh, and David? That business dinner you had Thursday nights for the last 3 years? With investors from New York? I know about Jessica. I've known for 2 years. I have all the text messages, all the hotel receipts, all of it. David's face went from pale to gray to a strange greenish color. I didn't care anymore by the time I found out, Maya continued, because I realized something important. I realized I'd been making myself small for a man who never saw me anyway. I realized I'd been hiding my brilliance because I was afraid it would threaten your ego. I realized I'd wasted 8 years on someone who loved the idea of a beautiful, quiet wife, but never once wanted to know the person underneath. She walked to the door, paused. There's a press conference scheduled downstairs in 20 minutes. The FBI is waiting to ask you questions about Phoenix Protocol. I suggest you get a good lawyer. Actually, you'll need several. Maya, David's voice cracked. Please, don't do this. We can fix this. You can't fix this, Maya said, and I'm not interested in watching you try. She walked out of the conference room, her heels clicking with final precision against the floor. Behind her, she heard David start to shout, heard Marcus arguing, heard Sarah already on the phone with lawyers. Maya didn't look back. In the elevator going down, she pulled out her phone. 3 messages waited. From her lawyer, divorce papers filed, press conference starting in 15. From the FBI, standing by, thanks for your cooperation, Ghost Protocol. From a number she didn't recognize. I saw your presentation go live on DataCorp's internal network. Holy shit. Call me. Elena Rodriguez, Tech Magazine. Maya deleted the last message. She wasn't ready to talk to the press yet, but soon, on her terms. The elevator doors opened on the ground floor. Through the glass walls of the building, she could see news vans already pulling up. The FBI had moved fast. Good. She'd parked her car 3 blocks away. A sensible electric sedan, not the Ferrari David had wanted her to drive. She'd never liked that Ferrari. Too flashy. Too much attention. Ghost Protocol didn't need attention. Ghost Protocol needed to be invisible. But Maya Chen was done being invisible. She drove toward the Golden Gate Bridge, toward the small apartment in Sausalito she'd rented 3 months ago under a different name. The apartment David didn't know existed. The apartment that was hers, only hers, with a view of the bay and a home office setup that would make most tech companies weep with envy. Her phone rang. David. She let it go to voicemail. It rang again. 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 On the 5th call, she answered, Maya, please, just listen. I did listen, David. For 8 years. I listened while you told me not to worry about business. I listened while you explained why I shouldn't attend important meetings. I listened while you introduced me at parties as my wife, with no mention of my name, my work, my life. I listened when you said you were working late. I listened when you told me I was being paranoid. I listened to every lie. I never lied about loving you. Yes, Maya said quietly, you did. You loved having me. You loved how I looked on your arm at events. You loved that I was quiet and supportive and never challenged you. But you never loved me, David. You never even knew me." She hung up, blocked his number, kept driving. The sun was setting over the Pacific, turning the sky gold and orange and purple. Maya pulled over at a scenic overlook, got out of the car, breathed in the salt air. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "This is Special Agent Rita Morrison, FBI Cybercrimes Division. Your testimony is scheduled for Tuesday at 9 a.m. Thank you for your bravery, Ms. Chen. We've been trying to catch DataCore for 2 years." Maya typed back, happy to help. Justice matters. She stood there as the sun sank into the ocean, as the sky darkened, as the first stars appeared. She thought about the young woman she'd been 8 years ago. The brilliant MIT grad student who'd built Ghost Protocol in her dorm room. The woman who'd fallen in love with a charming entrepreneur and believed they'd build something together. That woman had been naive, had been hopeful, had been willing to make herself small because she thought that's what love required. But love shouldn't require you to disappear. Maya got back in her car and drove to Sausalito, to her apartment, to her future. The lights of San Francisco glittered behind her, but she didn't look back. She was done looking back. Maya woke at 5 a.m. Monday morning to 17 missed calls, 43 text messages, and her face on the front page of every tech news website in the world. Ghost Protocol revealed. Tech billionaire's wife exposes husband's surveillance empire. DataCore Industries faces. Federal investigation after wife's shocking betrayal. The woman who brought down Silicon Valley's darling. She made coffee in her new apartment's small kitchen. Just hers. No staff. No chef. Perfect. And read through the coverage. Most of it was accurate. Some outlets were trying to paint her as a vengeful wife. Others were calling her a whistleblower hero. A few were questioning whether she'd committed crimes by hacking her husband's company. She'd expected all of it. Her lawyer called at 6 a.m. "Maya, good morning. Did you sleep?" "A few hours. What's the damage assessment?" Rebecca Tanaka's voice was crisp, professional. They'd worked together for 3 years since Maya had first started planning her exit. DataCore's stock dropped 42% at opening in Tokyo. Trading's been halted in the U.S. David's been asked to step down as CEO effective immediately. The board is cooperating with the FBI investigation, and you're being called in front of a Senate committee on Thursday. That was fast. Senator Morrison has been looking for a reason to investigate tech surveillance for years. You just handed her the smoking gun. Also, you're trending on Twitter. Your Ghost Protocol has been used 2 million times in the last 6 hours. Maya sipped her coffee. And David? Holed up in the Presidio house with 3 lawyers. He's already released a statement claiming you hacked his company illegally and that he's the real victim here. It's not playing well. The affair with Jessica leaked about an hour ago. I didn't do it, but someone did. Marcus, Maya said, the CFO. He always hated Jessica. Thought she was trying to manipulate David for inside information. He probably saw an opportunity. Regardless, David's public image is destroyed. The FBI is building their case. And you're being called the most important whistleblower in tech history. Maya didn't feel like a whistleblower. She felt like a woman who'd finally stopped lying to herself. I need you to set up something for me, Maya said. A foundation. I want to help other women in tech who've been silenced, overlooked, or had their work stolen. Women who've made themselves small because they thought they had to. Rebecca was quiet for a moment. That's brilliant. The optics alone would be... This isn't about optics, Maya interrupted gently. This is about actually helping. I've got $800 million coming from the divorce settlement. I want to use it to matter. 800 million? Jesus, Maya. It was my money to begin with. I'm just getting it back. They talked logistics for 20 minutes. Rebecca promised to have preliminary paperwork by Friday. After she hung up, Maya sat on her balcony watching the bay, watching sailboats drift past, watching the world wake up. Her phone buzzed. An unknown number. She'd been getting those all morning, reporters mostly, but this one came through with a verification code that meant it had passed her security protocols. She answered, Maya Chen, Ms. Chen, this is Dr. Sarah Kim, from DataCore. We met yesterday. Maya sat up straighter. Dr. Yuprose Kim, how did you get this number? I'm the CTO of a tech company. Getting numbers is what I do. A pause. I need to talk to you. In person, please. I'm not sure that's... I resigned this morning, Sarah said. Effective immediately. I've also agreed to testify against David and the board about Phoenix Protocol. I need your help. Maya considered. Where? There's a coffee shop in Sausalito. Marine View. Can you meet me there in an hour? Maya could see that coffee shop from her balcony. Interesting. 1 hour, Maya agreed. Sarah Kim looked exhausted. She sat in the corner of Marine View Coffee House with a triple espresso and the hollow-eyed look of someone who hadn't slept. When Maya walked in, Sarah stood up immediately. Thank you for coming. I wasn't sure you would. Maya sat down across from her. You have 15 minutes. Talk. I didn't know, Sarah said immediately. About Phoenix Protocol. I mean, I knew the technical architecture, obviously. I built half of it. But I didn't know what David was using it for. I didn't know about the illegal surveillance, the data selling, any of it. He kept that compartmentalized. Separate teams, separate systems. But you suspected, Maya said. It wasn't a question. Sarah looked down at her coffee. Yes, I suspected. And I didn't ask questions because David was brilliant and charismatic, and I wanted to believe we were building something good, and because tech moves fast, and sometimes you're too busy sprinting to look at where you're running. That's not an excuse. No, Sarah agreed. It's not, which is why I resigned, why I'm cooperating with the FBI, and why I'm here begging for your help. My help with what? I want to build something better, Sarah said. A real privacy-focused platform. Something that does what DataCore claimed to do. Helps people understand their digital footprint, protects their data, gives them control, but actually does it. Ethically, legally, transparently. She pulled out a tablet, showed Maya wireframe diagrams, technical specs. I've been working on this for 3 months, since I started to realize what Phoenix Protocol really was. I need a partner, someone who understands security like you do, someone who won't let the company drift into moral gray areas. Maya studied the designs. They were good. Actually good. You want me to co-found a company with you? I want you to make sure I build something worth building. I want someone who'll call me on my shit. I want someone who knows what happens when brilliant people convince themselves the ends justify the means. Sarah's voice cracked slightly. I want to do this right, and I can't do it alone. Maya sat back. Outside, tourists were walking along the waterfront, taking pictures, laughing. Normal people living normal lives, unaware that their data was being mined by dozens of companies just like DataCore. I need to testify on Thursday, Maya said. And there's the divorce, and the FBI investigation. I'm going to be busy. I know. I'm not asking you to start tomorrow. I'm asking you to think about it, to consider that maybe we could build something good out of this disaster. Maya finished her coffee. I'll think about it. But Sarah, if I do this, if I partner with you, there will be rules. Complete transparency, external audits, an ethics board that actually has power, no shortcuts, no move fast and break things. We do it right or we don't do it at all. Sarah smiled for the first time. That's exactly what I want. They shook hands. Maya left the coffee shop feeling something she hadn't felt in 8 years. Hope. The Senate chamber was cold. Maya sat at a table facing rows of senators, camera flashes exploding around her, her hands folded calmly in front of her. Senator Janet Morrison leaned forward into her microphone. Ms. Chen, let me start by thanking you for your bravery in coming forward. Your testimony today will help us understand the full scope of illegal surveillance in the tech industry. Thank you, Senator. For the record, can you state your full name and occupation? Maya Chen. I'm a cybersecurity consultant operating under the professional name Ghost Protocol. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Even though everyone knew by now, hearing her say it out loud was different. And you were married to David Chen, founder and former CEO of Datacore Industries, for 8 years? Yes. During that time, were you aware of your husband's company's illegal activities? Maya took a breath. Not initially. For the first 7 years, I had no access to Datacore's internal systems. I supported David's career, attended events, but I had no operational knowledge. That changed about 18 months ago. She pulled out documents. Copies had already been submitted to the committee, but she walked them through it. How she'd started to suspect something was wrong. How she'd begun investigating. How she'd discovered Phoenix Protocol. How she'd spent 6 months collecting evidence before exposing everything. Senator Morrison asked the obvious question. Ms. Chen, some critics have suggested that you illegally accessed your husband's company systems. How do you respond? I respond by noting that under California law, assets acquired during marriage are community property. Datacore Industries was built substantially with my personal investment of $4 million, which I earned through my consulting work as Ghost Protocol. That investment gave me what I consider to be a legitimate interest in how that company operated. Additionally, all the evidence I collected was submitted to the FBI, who obtained proper warrants before taking action. I didn't act as law enforcement. I acted as a concerned citizen and as someone who discovered her own money was being used to commit crimes. It was a careful answer. Rebecca had prepared her well. The testimony lasted 4 hours. Maya answered every question calmly, precisely, with detailed technical explanations when necessary. She showed emails. She showed code. She showed exactly how Phoenix Protocol had been illegally collecting data from 300 million users. And she told them why it mattered. Senator, the tech industry has convinced itself that data collection is neutral, that it's just information, but data is power. It's the power to predict behavior, manipulate choices, control narratives. Phoenix Protocol wasn't just collecting data. It was using that data to influence elections, market products, shape public opinion. And my husband's company was selling that power to the highest bidder, including hostile foreign governments. The chamber went quiet. How much money did Datacore make from Phoenix Protocol? Senator Morrison asked. In the last fiscal year alone, $2.3 billion, most of it from sources David would never acknowledge publicly. More murmurs. A senator from Texas spoke up. Ms. Chen, this all sounds very damning for your husband. But I have to ask, are you doing this because of the affair? Is this revenge? Maya looked directly at him. Senator, I'm doing this because Datacore Industries was committing crimes. The affair is separate. It hurt, yes. It was a betrayal, yes. But I would have exposed Phoenix Protocol regardless of what was happening in my marriage. Some things matter more than personal feelings. Democracy matters. Privacy matters. Truth matters. The senator looked skeptical but didn't push further. After 4 hours, Senator Morrison called for a break. Maya was escorted to a private room where Rebecca waited with water and encouragement. You're doing great. They're eating it up. Senator Morrison is already drafting legislation based on your testimony. Maya's phone buzzed. She'd put it on silent, but Rebecca had set up notifications for certain keywords. This one said, Priority David. She opened the message. It was from David's lawyer. Ms. Chen, Mr. Chen would like to speak with you privately before the divorce proceedings tomorrow. He has information you need to hear. Maya showed Rebecca. Trap? Probably. But he can't do anything to you now. You're too public. You're too protected. Maya thought about it. Set it up. Tonight. Neutral location. You and his lawyers present. Rebecca nodded. I'll arrange it. They met at a hotel conference room in downtown D.C. Neutral ground. David arrived with 2 lawyers. He looked terrible, exhausted, unshaven, 10 pounds thinner than he'd been 4 days ago. When he saw Maya, something in his face crumbled. Maya, he started. Don't, she said. Your lawyer said you had information, so talk. David's lead attorney, a sharp-eyed woman named Patricia Mills, spoke instead. Ms. Chen, my client would like to negotiate a settlement. He's prepared to offer you— I don't want his money, Maya interrupted. I want what's legally mine. My investment plus returns plus assets purchased with my funds. Rebecca has the list. That's not negotiable. That's $800 million, Patricia said, plus the house, plus vehicles, plus what I'm owed. Yes. David found his voice. Maya, please. You're destroying everything. The company is finished. The stock is worthless. Our employees, hundreds of people, are losing their jobs. Because of you. Maya felt something cold settle in her chest. No, David. Because of you. You built a company on illegal surveillance. You committed federal crimes. You lied to investors, to clients, to the government. That's why DataCore is finished. Not because I told the truth, because you built something that deserved to die. I built something revolutionary, David said, his voice rising. Phoenix Protocol was going to change the world. It was going to turn America into a surveillance state, Maya cut him off. It was going to give dictators tools to track dissidents. It was going to let corporations manipulate people's thoughts and choices without them knowing. You built something evil, David. You just didn't care because you were getting rich. And what about you? David's face twisted. You married me for my money, didn't you? You saw a startup founder and thought, here's my meal ticket. Maya laughed. She couldn't help it. David, I gave you $4 million when we met. I had more money than you. I've always had more money than you. I married you because I loved you, and because I was young and stupid enough to think you'd eventually see me as a partner instead of an accessory. She stood up. We're done here. Rebecca, file the final paperwork. I don't want anything else from him. Maya, wait. David stood too. I need you to know something. The affair with Jessica, it wasn't about you. You were perfect, beautiful, supportive, everything I could want. But you were so perfect that I felt small. Jessica made me feel important. She needed me. You never needed me. Maya stared at him. David, the problem isn't that I didn't need you. The problem is that you needed someone to need you more than you needed an equal. You wanted someone to save. And I was never going to be that person because I never needed saving. She walked to the door, paused. I hope you learn something from this. I hope you become better, but I won't be around to see it. She left. Rebecca followed. Behind them, she could hear David start to cry. In the car back to her hotel, Rebecca said quietly, Are you okay? I will be, Maya said. I just need to finish this. The San Francisco Women's Leadership Summit filled the Moscone Center with 3,000 attendees. Maya stood backstage, nervous in a way she'd never been nervous breaking into secure systems or testifying before Congress. This was different. This was personal. You're on in 2 minutes, the stage manager said. Are you ready? Maya touched the small necklace she wore, her grandmother's jade pendant. The only jewelry she'd kept from her marriage. Everything else had been sold, the proceeds donated to privacy advocacy groups. I'm ready. She walked onto the stage to thunderous applause. 3,000 women on their feet cheering. Maya felt tears prick her eyes but pushed them back. Thank you, she said when the applause finally died down. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of this. She told her story. Not all of it. That would take hours, but the parts that mattered. How she'd made herself small. How she'd hidden her brilliance because she thought that's what marriage required. How she'd spent 8 years being invisible in her own life. And how she'd finally chosen herself. For the last 6 months, Maya continued, I've been working on something new with Drs. Sarah Kim. Some of you may know her. I've co-founded Prism Technologies. We're building privacy-focused tools that actually protect user data. Not in theory, not in carefully worded privacy policies. In practice. She clicked to show the demo. The audience gasped. Prism was beautiful, clean, intuitive, powerful. Everything DataCore had claimed to be but never was. But more than that, Maya said, I've started the Ghost Protocol Foundation. It's funded with $800 million, my divorce settlement from DataCore. The foundation has 3 missions. 1. Provide grants to women in tech who've had their work stolen or buried. 2. Fund privacy advocacy and digital rights education. 3. Support women leaving marriages or partnerships where they've been diminished, overlooked, or abused. The applause started again. Maya let it wash over her. I'm doing this because I know I'm not the only woman who's ever been invisible. I know there are thousands, millions of women out there right now who are brilliant, talented, capable, but they're making themselves small because someone told them that's what they're supposed to do. Someone told them to be supportive, not successful. Someone told them to be pretty, not powerful. Someone told them to smile and nod and let the men talk. Her voice got stronger. I'm here to tell you, that's over. Be brilliant, be loud, be unapologetically yourself, take up space, demand recognition, and if anyone tells you that you're too much, too smart, too ambitious, too anything, leave, walk away, choose yourself. The standing ovation lasted 5 minutes. After the speech, Maya did a Q&A. A young woman in the third row stood up, nervous. Ms. Chen, I'm in a similar situation. My boyfriend doesn't know I've been building a startup. I've been hiding it because I'm afraid he'll feel threatened. What should I do? Maya thought about how to answer. The fact that you're hiding it tells you everything you need to know. If you can't be yourself with someone, if you have to pretend to be less than you are, that's not love. That's a cage. You deserve someone who celebrates your success, not someone who needs you to be small so they can feel big. The young woman sat down, nodding, wiping tears. Another question. Do you regret the marriage? The 8 years? I regret staying as long as I did, Maya said honestly, but I don't regret the lessons. I learned what I don't want. I learned what I won't accept. I learned that making yourself invisible doesn't make someone else see you better. It just makes you disappear. After the summit, Maya went back to her Sausalito apartment. It still felt too big sometimes, too quiet, but it was hers. Sarah called. Did you see the news? What news? Prism just got its first $10 million in seed funding, and Fortune wants to interview us about being the anti-data core. We're going mainstream, Maya. Maya smiled. Good. The world needs alternatives. Also, I got a call from the Ghost Protocol Foundation's first grant recipient. She's a machine learning researcher whose professor stole her algorithm and published it under his name. She's suing him now. The foundation is paying for her lawyers. Excellent. You're changing things, Maya. You know that, right? You're not just recovering from your marriage. You're building something that matters. After Sarah hung up, Maya sat on her balcony. The sun was setting over the Pacific again. It had been doing that every evening for millions of years, and it would keep doing it long after she was gone. But right now, in this moment, Maya Chen was alive. She was free. She was building something meaningful, and she was visible. Her phone buzzed one more time. An email from someone named Jennifer Ross in Austin, Texas. Dear Ms. Chen, I saw your speech at the Women's Leadership Summit. I've been married for 15 years to a man who dismisses every idea I have. I have a PhD in biochemistry, but he tells people I'm just a mom. I've been working in secret on a cancer treatment protocol. Your story gave me the courage to file for divorce and apply for funding to start my own lab. Thank you for showing me I don't have to disappear. Jennifer. Maya read it 3 times. Then she forwarded it to the Foundation's grants team with a note. Priority candidate. Let's help her. She poured herself a glass of wine. Cheap wine, nothing fancy. The kind she'd always preferred but had pretended not to like because David thought it was beneath them. And toasted the sunset. To visibility. To truth. To choosing yourself. To finally being free. Maya stood in front of the federal courthouse in San Francisco. Reporters surrounding her. David's sentencing hearing had just concluded. 5 years in federal prison. Marcus Webb got 7. 2 other executives got 4 each. David had looked at her once as he was led away in handcuffs. She'd felt nothing. Not anger, not satisfaction, not even pity. Just nothing. He'd become irrelevant to her story. Ms. Chen, a reporter pushed forward. Do you feel vindicated? I feel relieved, Maya said. Justice was served. That's what matters. Do you have any message for your ex-husband? Maya thought about it. I hope he uses the next 5 years to think about why he made the choices he made. I hope he becomes better, but that's his work to do, not mine. She walked away from the press, got into her car. Sarah was waiting in the passenger seat. How do you feel? Sarah asked. Like this chapter is finally over. They drove to Prism's new headquarters, a converted warehouse in the Mission District, all exposed brick and natural light. 127 employees now, built in just over a year, all of them committed to privacy, ethics, and doing tech right. The team threw Maya a surprise party. Cake, champagne, silly hats. Someone had made a banner. To the woman who changed everything, Maya hugged each person, thanked them, meant it. These people believed in what they were building. They believed in a different kind of tech company, one where ethics mattered, where transparency wasn't just a buzzword. Late that night, alone in her office, Maya pulled up the Ghost Protocol Foundation's dashboard. In 1 year, they'd given grants to 234 women, funded 89 lawsuits against companies and individuals who'd stolen women's work, supported 412 women leaving abusive or diminishing relationships, funded privacy education programs reaching 500,000 students. $800 million was being used to matter. Her phone rang, unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. Maya Chen. Miss Chen, this is Dr. Jennifer Ross. We spoke about a year ago. You funded my lab. Dr. Ross, of course. How are you? I'm calling to tell you we just got FDA approval for human trials on the cancer treatment protocol I developed. Because of your foundation, because you gave me a chance, we might actually cure a type of lymphoma that's been fatal for decades. Maya's breath caught. Jennifer, that's incredible. It's because of you. You gave me the courage to leave a marriage where I was invisible. You gave me funding when no one else would take a chance on a divorced mom with a crazy idea. You changed my life. And now I might get to change other people's lives. I just wanted to say thank you. After she hung up, Maya sat in the darkness of her office and cried. Not sad tears, not angry tears, grateful tears, for the courage to leave, for the strength to choose herself, for the money to help others do the same, for being visible again. 2 years after the scandal, Maya Chen was named to Forbes' list of most powerful women in tech. Not because she'd exposed DataCore, because Prism Technologies had become a billion-dollar company built on ethics and privacy. 3 years after, Ghost Protocol Foundation had helped over 1,000 women. Funded hundreds of lawsuits, changed countless lives. 4 years after, Maya spoke at MIT's commencement. She told the graduates about making themselves small, about the cost of invisibility, about the freedom of choosing yourself. You will be tempted, she told them, to diminish your brilliance because someone feels threatened by it. You will be tempted to hide your success because someone might feel inadequate. You will be tempted to make yourself small because society tells you that's what nice people do. She paused, looked at them. Don't! Be brilliant. Be big. Be unapologetically yourself. The right people will celebrate it. The wrong people will leave. Let them. The applause was deafening. 5 years after the scandal, Maya got a letter from David. He'd been released early for good behavior. The letter said he was sorry. Said he'd spent 5 years thinking about what he'd done wrong. Said he understood now that he'd never really known her. Said he hoped she was happy. Maya read it once. Put it in a drawer. Didn't respond. Some chapters didn't need conclusions. They just needed to end. Maya Chen woke up in her Sausalito apartment at 5 a.m., made coffee, sat on her balcony watching the sunrise. She was 43 now. Prism Technologies was worth $3 billion. Ghost Protocol Foundation had helped 5,000 women and counting. She'd been named Tech Person of the Year by 3 different magazines. But the accomplishment she was proudest of was simpler. She was happy. Not because of what she'd built, though that mattered. Not because of what she'd exposed, though that mattered too. Because she'd chosen herself. because she'd stopped being invisible, because she'd learned that you don't need anyone else to see you if you can see yourself. Her phone buzzed. Sarah calling. "Morning. Are you watching the news?" "No. Why?" "Turn on CNBC, now." Maya grabbed the remote. The anchor was mid-sentence. And in a shocking announcement, former Datacorp Industries CEO David Chen has published a memoir titled The Cost of Success. In it, he admits to all the crimes he was convicted of and apologizes to his ex-wife Maya Chen, calling her the most brilliant person I've ever known and the one person I most deeply wronged. Maya watched David's face appear on screen. He was on a morning show promoting his book. He looked older, thinner, tired. Maya was right about everything, he was saying. I built something unethical. I prioritized profit over people. And I took for granted the woman who'd given me everything. I wrote this book because I want other people, other men specifically, to learn from my mistakes. Don't underestimate your partners. Don't dismiss their brilliance. Don't make them small to make yourself feel big. The interviewer asked, "Have you spoken to Maya since you got out of prison?" "No," David said quietly. "I wrote her a letter. She never responded. I don't blame her. She's moved on. She's built something beautiful, and I'm genuinely happy for her, even though I have no part in her life anymore." Maya turned off the TV, sat in silence. Sarah's voice came through the phone. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine," Maya said. And she meant it. "He's trying to rebuild his reputation. That's his work. I'm done with it." "Do you want to respond? Give a statement?" "No. He's irrelevant to my story now. He was a chapter. The chapter's over." After she hung up, Maya finished her coffee and got ready for work. Prism was launching a new product today, a tool that let users see exactly what data companies were collecting and gave them one-click deletion rights. True digital privacy, not just the illusion of it. Sarah was waiting at the office. So were the rest of the team. They launched the product at 9 a.m. By noon, 1 million people had downloaded it. By end of day, 5 million. The tool was called Visible because everyone deserved to be seen, but only on their own terms. That evening, Maya did something she hadn't done in years. She updated Ghost Protocol's anonymous blog. The one she'd maintained for a decade, the one that had inspired her consulting career, the one that had started everything. She wrote, "Someone asked me recently if I regret staying in my marriage as long as I did. Here's my answer. I regret the time I wasted being invisible, but I don't regret the lessons. I learned that making yourself small doesn't make anyone love you more. It just makes you disappear. I learned that the right partner celebrates your success, not feels threatened by it. I learned that you can build empires in secret, but you can't build a life. Most importantly, I learned that you don't need anyone else to see you if you can see yourself. To everyone reading this who feels invisible, you're not. You're brilliant. You're powerful. You're exactly enough. Don't wait for permission to be yourself. Don't wait for someone to recognize your worth. Don't wait for the right moment. Choose yourself. Today. Right now. It's the best decision you'll ever make. Stay visible, my friends. The world needs you. Ghost Protocol. The post went viral. Within hours, it had been shared 500,000 times. Women were posting their own stories of invisibility and emergence. Men were posting about learning to see their partners. Companies were posting about changing their cultures. Maya read through the comments, the stories, the transformations. She'd done what she'd set out to do. She'd shown people that invisibility was a choice, that you could step into the light, that you could choose yourself and build something beautiful. Her phone buzzed. Jennifer Ross from Austin. "Maya, I just got the clinical trial results. We're saving lives. The treatment works. It actually works." Maya felt something swell in her chest. Joy, pride, purpose. "That's incredible, Jennifer. Congratulations. It's because of you. Because you showed me I didn't have to be invisible. Because your foundation gave me a chance." After they hung up, Maya sat at her desk and let herself feel it all. The weight of what she'd done. the ripples spreading outward. The lives changed. She thought about the young woman she'd been 10 years ago, the brilliant MIT grad student who'd fallen in love and made herself small, who'd believed that love meant sacrifice and silence. That woman would be proud of who she'd become. Maya finished her work, drove home, made dinner. Simple pasta, nothing fancy. Poured cheap wine she loved. Sat on her balcony watching the sunset. Her phone buzzed one last time. A text from Sarah. Prism just hit 1 billion in revenue. We did it. Maya smiled, typed back. No. We're just beginning. She sat there as the sun sank into the Pacific, as the sky turned purple and orange and gold, as the first stars appeared. Tomorrow she'd keep building, keep helping, keep showing people that invisibility was a choice and visibility was a birthright. But tonight she was just Maya Chen, not Ghost Protocol, not a whistleblower, not a CEO or founder or tech revolutionary, just herself. Finally, completely, undeniably herself. And it was enough. It was more than enough. It was everything. If this story touched you, remember you don't need to be a champion to make a difference. You need the courage to stand for what's right, the humility to admit you're wrong, and the generosity to lift others up. That is the kind of strength that changes the world. Thank you for watching to the end. If today's story touched you even a little, please hit subscribe so you won't miss new episodes every week. Which moment did you like most in the story? Tell me in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, so the algorithm knows you want more. Stories of justice and healing. If you're watching from a particular city, share where you're tuning in from. I'd love to see how wide our community reaches. See you next episode. A secret unlocked by a late apology. Tap the bell to get notified the moment it goes live.